This sister passed very shortly after giving birth to a son, leaving her twin sister to care for the child. Years later, for an odd reason, this youngster made all the physicians lower their heads. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. Although there are many wonderful things that come in pairs, twins are the greatest. You'll be thinking about the twins narrative from today's video for a very long time. Chloe and Claire, you see, were the epitome of the Wonder Twins. It's a common misconception that identical twins who look more alike are closer to one another, but that's not quite accurate. They weren't the same as the ones in this narrative. In actuality, Chloe was occasionally confused for the older sister. She even behaved like the elder one, being larger and taller than Claire. She kept her twin sister safe and showed great protection for her. Because of this, Claire had a carefree life and had faith that her elder sister would always save the day. But she would have to save her sister one day. Would she be capable of doing the task? The parents of Chloe and Claire made sure they provided them everything they could with what little they had. Their family was small and kind, but one night, something terrible happened. That evening, the family had just completed supper, so Sarah and Wilson watched a movie downstairs while Claire and her 17-year-old daughter Chloe walked upstairs. The sisters were in their room playing a video game when all of a sudden there was a gunshot heard. "What's that?" Claire let out a scream and was about to bolt, but Chloe moved quickly. Reaching for her sister's hand, she put her fingers on Claire's mouth. She said in a whisper, "Wait." The females remained motionless for the next 10 minutes. They could feel their bodies trembling all over without even trying to move due to their extreme fear. A few more minutes later, Chloe guided Claire to the living room by holding her hand. Their parents were on the floor, helpless, when they escaped. Sarah was already comatose and Will showed no signs of life. For the next half hour, we thought we were trapped in a dream. Chloe remarked, "We couldn't believe it was only Mom and Dad in a pool of their own blood." Sarah was taken straight into the emergency unit when the girls called for help. The girls were waiting for the doctor's word outside, holding hands. The doctor summoned them into his office later that evening to inform them that Sarah had also died away. There were many tears, regrets, and immense suffering. Chloe vowed to never leave her sister's side that same day. "We are in this together, and I will never let you be all alone," stated Chloe. But if only they knew this aspiration would remain a pipe dream. The girls toiled morning and night to make ends meet. After the ladies aged 25, Chloe eventually met a man who brought joy and ease back into their lives. Sadly, it didn't last very long. This man didn't even say goodbye when Chloe informed him she was pregnant. These sisters, however, had previously gone through much worse, so they chose not to let it affect them. With a grin on their faces, they braved the storm. Sadly, Chloe went suddenly while giving delivery, leaving her son Kyle in the capable care of her twin sister. Claire felt a maternal impulse surge through her as she cradled the small kid. She met her gaze with her anxieties. It was time to take over her sister's role as protector and guardian. "I'm going to love you even so much better than Chloe could have, I promise, baby," stated Claire. The two had an amazing life together after that. Financial help was also provided by the physicians and nurses who were aware of their tale. Claire even launched a profitable YouTube channel. She wanted to make her sister proud and loved the lad with all of her heart. She had no idea that this child would be used for something bigger, something that would bring her enormous pain. Before Claire realized it, one of the top students in his class, Kyle, was already 11 years old. He was kind and laid back. He was also adored by many for his kindness and generosity. However, this is also the reason why they would cry so much, and everyone would be asking themselves, how could an 11-year-old boy do such a thing? What a brave one! You see, Claire stopped hosting suitors who were men after Chloe passed away. But that was before someone, well, not just anybody, but Adams, Kyle's class teacher, entered her life. Later on, this man assisted her in granting a desire that was really required. Adams once told Claire, "Your son's doing really well. You're doing a great job," when she arrived to pick up Kyle from school. And Adams was such a kind guy. Kyle became quite close to his instructor as a result of his assistance with his schoolwork and athletics. He even talked about him and Claire a lot. She thought, Must be a really decent person. Then one day she received an unexpected Facebook message from someone. Claire's heart skipped a beat when she saw it was Adams. "I apologize. Perhaps texting you here is acceptable. How is the young boy doing?" Claire answered back to Adams's letter. They spoke into the night that night. The two went on a date the next weekend. Kyle even assisted Claire in choosing an outfit. "Adams adores people of color. In that he's going to like you," the astute child said. They went on several subsequent dates after that lovely first one. Adams asked Claire out, and she said yes, since he was so certain he wanted to be in her life forever. Adams said, "You are the world's greatest mom. All of this is because of Chloe. I learned strength from her, and I would stop at nothing to keep Kyle safe." After he dropped her off, she was going to walk into the home when she said to Adams, "He's the reason I live." Their bond grew over the ensuing few months. Each of them had a significant impact on Kyle's life. Claire felt as though everything was coming together. She was relieved that Kyle would at last have a father he adored and respected. Adams intended to ask Claire to marry him that weekend. He'd already told Kyle, and they were going to give her a surprise. Sadly, on Friday, the day before, everything in their lives collapsed. Claire encouraged Kyle to be a nice boy when she left him off at school that Friday, but an awful incident occurred shortly after she departed. Kyle lost consciousness in class after falling off his chair. After the pupils set out an alert, the school administration dispatched an ambulance. Along with them were Adams and 2 teachers. Adams contacted Claire while traveling. She had to be there, even if he didn't want to be the one to break such terrible news. "Kyle has experienced something. Would you kindly visit the hospital?" Claire ran into Adams in the waiting area of the hospital and flung herself into his arms. "He must not experience any harm. I will never be able to forgive myself," she sobbed, till Adams pointed out the physicians to her. Claire answered that she was his mother when they inquired if she was the guardian. The doctor then invited her to accompany him into the room. Grasping Adams's hand, Claire pulled him forward. She sensed something was off, but not in the way she had anticipated. The doctor informed them of some serious news once they had settled in. He informed them that Kyle had just many months to live due to a stage 5 brain tumor. "I'm not really sure what happened afterward, but the next time I opened my eyes, I was on a hospital bed," Adams recalled. "I had been out for a couple of hours." When Claire eventually informed Kyle all the doctor had stated, the young child responded with the most courageous words imaginable. "Mom, please stop crying for me. I'm not afraid. I'm aware that other youngsters could require my aid. They can have my organs when the time is right, and I will stay inside of them," Kyle remarked, delight and optimism shining in his eyes. Over the course of the following few months, Claire and Adams made every effort to fulfill Kyle's wish list. Claire would constantly excuse herself at this time, going to hide in a corner and sob uncontrollably. One day Adams caught her in the act. "I'm not sure I could survive without him. I will be really sad to see him depart." "He's my everything," Claire said, but she was cut off by a cough. It was Kyle. His hair had grown out, his eyes had become sunken, and he appeared quite thin. The youngster interjected, "Promise me you will give me a younger sibling," and Claire drew him in for an intensely lengthy hug. After a few more months, Kyle was bedridden, and the doctors quickly determined that he was brain dead. This photo depicts how the physicians knelt in front of the boy's body following the 6-hour surgery. They were admired and respected beyond measure. Adams supported Claire over the years that followed, during which she remained a shell of her former self. You may probably predict the name of the baby girl this couple had, Chloe, who was born years later. She will grow up to hear of her courageous older brother, who at the age of 11 possessed the most compassionate heart that humanity has ever seen. What is the biggest thing you have ever given up for an unknown person? Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.